doesn't love historical fiction? I don't know. I think there's like a group of us who grew up in the 90s who just really, really love it. I blame the Dear America books. Hello, my name is Heather, and I am the Reading Mama. Today, I'm going to share one of my first book challenges that I'm going to do here on my new BookTube channel. And it is Historathon, which centers all around historical fiction, which is right in my wheelhouse. If you go over to my homeschooling channel, you will see that it greatly influences our homeschool journey as well. But today, I wanted to share this challenge from Lindsey at Little Library, Layna's Bookshelf, and Gloria Z. Thompson are who are hosting it. And they have a little graphic, which I will try to upload here and share with you. But I wanted to share kind of my TBR, what I'm looking forward to reading during this readathon. I don't know that I'll get to all of them, but I was excited that all of them were already either on my TBR, like on my desk, need to read it ASAP, or I could get in my library. Like Hoopla. So, not Hoopla. I use Libby mostly. Anyways, I digress. So the main book is the Briar Club, and that is the like group read. And I'm going to struggle to get a hold of that because I don't know that I want to invest in it. But I am going to try to look for that. At the very least, I will get it in audiobook form. But my other books, there are basically, it's a bingo card and you have 9 categories. And so I'm going to share what my TBRs are. We'll see if I actually get them. I'm at the point where I have to read so many books for homeschool and then books I want to read that I no longer like really frown at not finishing a book. I used to never do a DNF, but now I do. So without further ado, let me just talk about what some of these books are. So you will see a mix of adult, grown-up, regular book novels and YA because some of the books I'm pre-reading for my teens and preteens, and some of the books are recommended actually by my teens. So first up is the historical era of exploration, and really several of these books come in here. We do a history and literature-based schooling, and so there's not really an era I haven't read. It's supposed to be something out of your comfort zone, but somebody recommended to me the Blackbird Girls, which is in the wreckage of Chernobyl, a friendship is born is the tagline there. I don't really know anything about this time period, this area or time, but it's about 2 girls and their parents, their fathers worked at Chernobyl when it exploded, and then kind of their life from going on there. So I'm excited to read that. So that's my historical exploration. Then famous historical figures. My oldest has been dying for me to read The Enigma Girls by Candace Fleming. How 10 teenagers broke ciphers, kept secrets, and helped win World War II. And this is also going to double for a historical nonfiction hybrid because there are quite an extensive bibliography back here and author's notes and acknowledgments and everything. And so my girls are all into codes and spies right now, so they're reading lots of them. And I've always been intrigued by the Enigma machine and those who helped. So I'm excited to read that one as well. My historical romance. So I said in my intro video, I don't do romance, but it occurs. I just finished A Girl of the Limberlost. That's a romance. There's a romance in there. However, I already finished that. So I looked up a book and it's called My Name is Mary Sutter. And she is a midwife, and I'm about 3 chapters in. It's an audiobook. I'm really enjoying it. However, the narrator says midwifery, and let me just tell you, it's midwifery. I've had my last 2 babies with a midwife, planning to have this baby that I'm expecting in March with a midwife. It's midwifery. So that's really annoying me whenever the author, or not the author, but the narrator says midwifery. But so far it's very interesting. We'll see how it goes. I hope it doesn't lead towards affair. I think that's where it's going, and that would ruin the book for me. But otherwise it's interesting. Next up is historical mysteries. I just went and grabbed this book. Where did it go? Okay. I have some favorite Sherlock Holmes detective stories. I read my first since high school this summer called A Study in Scarlet. And that one's actually really hard to find without coming in a compilation for some reason. And so I wanted my oldest to read that and then get started. And so then I found this at a homeschool shop nearby. You may have heard of them, Nature's Workshop Plus. They have some great homeschool books as well. And this has several of them. So the very first one is A Scandal in Bohemia. So I'm excited to read a couple of these. And so that's historical mysteries for me. If you had a young adult, you could give them this, obviously, but also the Enola Holmes would be perfect for this because it's historical fiction. It gives you a lot about the life during that Victorian time period, and it just comes from a different way, and it's a lot of fun. Then social issues and cultural perspective. This has sat on my shelf for a while. I think I got it at a free library or something, and I've been wanting to read it, and so this is the time. But it talks about J.P. Morgan's personal librarian, who is a Black American woman, but is very pale colored skin, and so she passes for white. So I'm very interested to read this story. It's also in a time period that I don't usually read a lot of this particular time period, and it is very well researched. There's a lot historical notes at the back. So this is my social issues, cultural perspectives read, just because you do have that race and the heritage going on through. And then it also would be a historical nonfiction hybrid, because they were tagging that as something that is very well thought. So it's historical fiction, but very well thought. Another if you are looking for somebody, Ruth Sepetys, I'm sure that's not how you say her name, but from Salt to Sea and some of her other books are really well researched and written. Then historical adaptation that's been a movie or film, Sherlock's going to fall in that category because that's just where he goes. There's so many different versions. So we're going to be doing that. Then for Strong Sense of Place, this is one I've actually just started. It is a pre-read for my daughter for school, and it's called River Runs Deep, and it's a very interesting story so far. Basically, so we live in Indiana. We're very close to Mammoth Cave, but I've never been, and I've always wanted to go. My younger brother went, and my dad back years and years ago when he was in Boy Scouts, and they camped in Mammoth Cave, and I've always been so jealous of that. But and we are planning a field trip, but this is, a doctor has taken patients into Mammoth Cave to try to heal their breathing ailments with the cave air. But while they're there, the main character, who's like a 12-year-old boy, comes across some funny things going on. And so this is definitely historical fiction, but it is also really strong sense of place because you're learning a lot about the cave, and everything happens in the caves. So very strong sense of place. I'm really excited. I think I've read some other Jennifer Bradbury. I don't remember. Maybe. But so far, so good. It's a quick read too, so I can see this going really quickly. So then that leaves the last one, which is War and Conflict, which really Enigma Girls, some of these others, because this one is a Civil War time period too, could all fall in that. But I'm going to do Red Badge of Courage, mostly because I have to read it so that I can know what to give to my kids, because somebody said there's something questionable in here, but they couldn't tell me where. So I need to read it before I give it to my child. I've started it. I'm not going to lie, I did not enjoy the first couple chapters. But it's one of those classics I feel like most people read in high school, and I really didn't. So I want to do it. I may or may not force my child to read it, but Red Badge of Courage takes place during Civil War, and basically he's romanticized the notion of war, and he comes to change his mind. So we'll see. Like I said, all of these were on my shelf, except for My Name is Mary Sutter. I got on Libby app to listen to some of these. I may switch over and listen to audiobook just because I can get through more at that time. However, I had all these books on my shelf, or these library books have been sitting here staring at me and judging me because I needed to read them. So now's the time. So that is what I have. You can see about 3 of them are YA, and then the rest are just regular novels. That's just kind of how I roll, is usually about half YA and half regular novels, but I'm excited to do this, and I'll hopefully come back at the end of the month, and maybe I'll shock everyone and I'll have read them all, but we'll see, as it's November. But I will also be sharing about nonfiction November, because I am reading several nonfiction books, and so I will be sharing about that in the future. But if you are excited to join in Historathon, please check out the ladies I have listed below, the hosts, and go give them a visit and get the little bingo card so that you can play along. Thank you so much for watching.